You are listening to the Slow Living Podcast, and I am your host, Stephanie O'Day. We're at episode number 62, and in it, I am going to play an encore episode of one that I recorded a year ago. And I recorded it a year ago right around this time, maybe a little later in the year. So maybe my favorite time to do the exercise that I'm going to share with you is between Christmas and New Year's. So those sort of, I call them dead days. So the 27th, 28th, 29th, kind of when the kids are occupied and are playing with all of their new toys and the house is still decorated and we still have plenty of food and I can kind of bunker down. And so I take stock of the here and the now. And in doing so, then I can map out the upcoming year. So I recorded this a year ago, and I got to tell you, I am so pleased at all of the things that I was able to accomplish in 2022. And a lot of what I was able to do came about because I took these few days to journal and self-reflect and take stock. So the worksheets that I'm going to lay out to you are still available, and they're at stephanieoday.com/new you, NEWYOU. And you can download them and you can go through them and you can take stock of your own here and now and make sure that you're on the right trajectory to set yourself up for success in the years to come. I also want to share with you that I have a massive decision and a massive couponing happening for Simple Shortcuts to Peace course in 2023, because I really want to make sure that everyone who wants to access this life-changing material and courses and the downloadables and the worksheets and the journal prompts and all of the information, I want everyone who wants it to be able to access it regardless of price. So the month of December, the coupon code is Massive December, all one word. And as we go through this year, I'm going to slowly inch the price up. But I think if you plop in that Massive December, all one word, all caps coupon code, you're going to be a little blown away at what I've decided to do. So please join in. I think this will be pretty much one of the better decisions you've made for your whole entire life. So without further ado, take stock of the here and now. And wherever you are, know that you are loved and hugged. And I think you are absolutely wonderful. Okay. Lucky number 12, episode 12. That means you could listen to one of these episodes a month and we can fill up an entire year. So that is super exciting. Today, we are going to talk about the here and now, taking stock. Where are you? Metaphysically. So I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area, but I want to talk about where you are in terms of where you want to go. So it's the end of the year when I'm recording this. This is, we're in December of 2021, and we have been living in pandemic times for the past 2 years. And it is utterly exhausting. And I think mentally we are just done with this whole thing. And it's a really good time to sort of take stock and figure out what has happened these past 2 years and try and plan ahead for the future. And if you're listening to this in April or August or September or whenever it is you're listening, it doesn't matter. You don't need to wait and do these things at the end of the year. You can do them now. Your end of the year, your end of who you are versus who you want to be can start at any time. I mentioned in episode number 10, a few episodes ago, that it was my 45th birthday, and I like to plan out my life in 5-year chunks. So since my birthday happens to be in November, right around Thanksgiving, and it sort of rolls right into the holiday season and the end of each year, the sort of downtime between Thanksgiving and the end of the year is about 6 weeks. And I get kind of in my head, and I do a lot of thinking and daydreaming and plotting and planning, but I also take stock, and that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm going to share with you the questions that I have my own one-on-one coaching clients fill out, either when they first start working with me, because we're trying to take an honest assessment of where they are and where it is they want to go. So then I can help them figure it out and set their metaphoric GPS. So all of the things they want can come true. But we don't know how to properly set the GPS if you don't know where you are. So even in your car and even on Google Maps on your phone, there are only 2 points needed, and that's where you are. You need to pinpoint where you are right now. So then when you set the intention out there and you set your goals and you set your resolutions and you set the idea that you're going to transform your life, you know where you're headed. So if you do not need to transform your life in any way, and you are easy peasy, pumpkin squeezy, and you look in the mirror and you look in your bank account and you look at your family and you look at your health, and you are sunshine and roses and it can't possibly be any better, and you are living your version of the dream, I think that is awesome. And I am so proud of you and thrilled for you, and write me an email and tell me all about it, because I love success stories in any way. But if there is a tiny piece of you that thinks that things can be better and you would like some part of your life to improve in the new year or the new month or the new version of you, then this episode hopefully we'll have a whole bunch of nuggets of thought for you. A lot of journaling will take place. I don't want you to try and take notes if you're driving or if you're actively on a walk or anything like that. That would be very difficult. So I've put all of the questions in a downloadable PDF. And this is the exact same PDF that I send to my one-on-one coaching clients. And this is the exact PDF that is housed within the Simple Shortcuts to Peace course. But I'm happy to share it with you because I think it is important to really know where you are and take stock. So you can access that at stephanieodea.com/new you. stephanieodea.com/new you. NEWYOU, all one word. And it's whether or not you want to completely transform your life, this will help you sort of figure it out. So I've always been a sucker for New Year's resolutions. And I'm also a huge proponent of birthday resolutions and new school year resolutions. And each month I come up with sort of a new theme for myself and many challenges. And I really, really like goal setting, achieving. And I actually have a pretty darn good track record. Also, I kind of deep down inside consider myself a bit lazy, and I am absolutely a natural introvert. So if I was given a choice between going out to a concert and staying home and becoming one with the couch cushions and watching Netflix, I will always pick the couch. But that said, I do make things happen each and every day and month and week and year. And I'm able to guide and mentor my coaching clients so they too can make their goals and visions happen. Because I believe we all deserve to live out the life of their dreams. So I do this by conducting an honest assessment review. And that is what we're going to go over today. So the way the Simple Shortcuts to Peace course is outlined, and that you can get all of the information. That's stephanieodea.com/peace, Peace. We do the Peace Pyramid, and the very bottom section of the Peace Pyramid is filled with time management and health and finances. And then we move up a level to organization and relationships. And then the very tippity top of the pyramid is peace. And it's really interesting because when I was building the Peace Pyramid, I think it was back in 2015, it came to me while we were on a really long road trip with the family. We took a 15-day camping trip, and we had this little pop-up trailer, and there was no Wi-Fi in many of the places. We were going in and out of national parks. And so I had a lot of daydreaming time, and I had a notebook, and I was just sort of jotting things down in the car and at the campsites. And so I came up with this concept of the Peace Pyramid, and I was super excited. And then I came home, and my sister-in-law is a very gifted photographer. That's not what she does for a profession, but she has a really nice camera. And so she was taking pictures of me. And then I was explaining to my brother that I was going to put together the course. And he says, "Oh, that's Maslow's pyramid." And I had no idea what Maslow's pyramid was. And then I Googled it, and it is this huge, psychological psychiatry term where in general, and you can Google it. So Maslow is Maslow, but it's the very first few things are shelter and food and your family welfare and your health. And that is, if you're at the poverty level, that's what you need to get in touch with first. You need to figure out how you're going to get a roof over your head. You're going to figure out how you're going to get food on the table and that kind of thing. Very similarly to pioneers. You've got to build your house. You've got to have shelter. You've got to have water and all of those things. And then only when those are set, you can move up a level. And so I felt really uncomfortable for a little while, and I sort of wanted to burn down the whole course because I thought, well, gosh, I didn't even know Maslow's pyramid was a thing. I took child psychology in school, but I didn't take general psychology. And it's really interesting because my oldest now is in college, and she's taking psychology classes, and Maslow's pyramid is such a thing. And so maybe at one point I did learn it, but my subconscious did not. But I think what the difference is in many ways is if you're listening to me right now, my hope is you're not struggling to find shelter. And my hope is you're not struggling to put food in the refrigerator and feed yourself and feed your family. And my hope is that you are actually living a pretty darn good life compared to many, 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 many people. And if you're taking the time to dive into listening to podcasts and any sort of personal development, and you're trying to tweak your life and modify it in some way, you are not scared that you're going to lose your house. And you're not scared that you can't make ends meet. That's not a feeling that I would wish for anybody. And if you really do need help in that way, then absolutely reach out and figure out what county programs there are and that type of thing. But I will not have answers to that. This is more if you are ready to make a change and you have the ability to do so, and you're able to look at your life in a very global way. And one of the best ways to do that, honestly, is by unplugging from all of the noise, all of the media, the traditional media, the social media, your brother-in-law down the street who thinks he's got it all under control, and really kind of take some quiet time and take stock and do an honest assessment. And I like to do this usually in the quiet week between Christmas and New Year's. Many times we go and spend a few nights in a cabin. And our family makes vision boards. It's a lot of fun. If you've never made a vision board, I absolutely encourage you to make a vision board. But at some point, you really need to not daydream and not only wish and hope and pray. You've got to start taking some action steps. And the best way to start with the action steps is to take an honest assessment. Okay, we're going to dive into time management. And again, you do not need to take notes if you don't want to. Everything is written out at stephanieodea.com/new you, and you'll get this into your PDF review. And I encourage you, print out a few copies. Do them quarterly. Fill it out on your birthday. Absolutely fill it out in the new year. But any time where there is the ending of one chapter in your life and the beginning of another, it's a great time to do some journaling and pay attention to your thoughts and where you want to go. Okay, so for time management, what was this year like for you? What time did you get up each day? What time did you go to bed? Were you early to events and appointments more often than not? Or did you feel like you were rushing around? Did you meet all of your deadlines and obligations on time? If you were graded on your punctuality, what grade would you receive? On a daily basis, how often do you feel rushed? How much TV or social media do you consume? And how can you better serve your own needs next year? So the things to pay attention, what bubbles up, and then I do end up needing to pull out a calculator here, but I try and get a snapshot of how many hours I spent working, how many hours I spent sleeping. What about self-care? How many hours did you devote to yourself and to self-care? And how many hours would you think, in quotes, this year you wasted? And so those are the data points. Those are the things to track. So after time management, we're going to move on to health. And health is actually a really easy place to pay attention to your data points, because if you go to the doctor once a year, and if you are not going to the doctor once a year, you absolutely should. So you need to go to the doctor once a year and the dentist twice a year and get a full blood panel and figure out all of your numbers. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your overall health right now? Are you drinking enough water? How many steps do you get on average each day? How is your sleep? Do you feel anxious more often than not? Are you satisfied with your weight? When you look in the mirror, are you pleased with your reflection? What is your alcohol consumption like? Your caffeine consumption? Does your media consumption help or hinder your mental health? How is your muscle tone? Where do you feel as if there's room for improvement? And then the data points to track, so you can look back on this, is what is your current weight? Your waist measurement right at your belly button. I said belly button, your navel. What's your blood pressure? Do you know your A1C number? And then if there's anything that the doctor has brought up that you need to pay attention to, make sure you get those numbers and have them tucked away safely. So then at next year's blood draw, you have something to compare them to. Okay, third point is finances. And a lot of people pay an awful lot of attention to their finances. And that is mostly what they're worried about and frantic about all of the time is their finances. And I don't want that to be the case for you. So in one of our future episodes, I'll do an entire episode on finances and wealth. But for right now, I am asking you to just pay attention to your finances regularly. Do you know your current checking account balance? What is your retirement agent number? How can you increase your retirement savings? Do you have an emergency fund in place? Is all of your insurance up to date and properly funded? Are there any large expenses on the horizon? If you have recurring debt, do you have a payment plan in place that you're happy with? How can you increase income this year? And then an end question is, do you feel in control of your finances? And then the data points to track are obviously money in, money out, money invested, and money gifted and or given to charity. Okay, moving on in our pyramid to organization. So when you walk in the front door of your house, does your home bring you peace? Do you feel relaxed when you come home? Does the master bedroom feel like a sanctuary? Do you have a plan in place to tackle the daily, weekly, monthly, and quarterly chores? Can company drop by with only 30 minutes notice? Do you know what you're having for dinner tonight? Do you know what you're having for dinner tomorrow night? Do you have a laundry system in place that's working for you? What would be the easiest quick fix to help you feel tranquil in your home? Can you find things easily in your home when they go missing? And then organization is a bit difficult to track on data. It's a lot of what it feels like and what when you walk in, does it feel cluttered? Does it not feel cluttered? Can you find things? And so data points that I track are upgrades made. So in my Clean Less, Play More book, I talk about how we keep an ongoing punch list. And a punch list are things that need repairing or fixing throughout the house. So I do look back. How many things did we cross off the punch list each year, or this past year, or this past month? And then areas PROMD. So PROMD is the decluttering acronym that I use, which is purge, remove, organize, maintain. In these, again, the Clean Less, Play More book, and then along with the Totally Together Shortcuts to an Organized Life Planner, which are both available on Amazon, or you can find them on my website, stephaniodea.com/books is where all of the books are. I like things clean. I really do. The kids know mom likes things clean. But I don't necessarily like cleaning. I don't like the act of cleaning. So I like to do a little bit each day. And so the daily 7 chores that I've come up with, we try our hardest to quickly do them, and we do them very quick. I set a timer and we do 10-minute tidies. And since there's 5 of us, that is 50 minutes of work. That is an awful lot that can get accomplished in a short amount of time. But if your house feels like you can't keep it clean, chances are you just have too many things in your house and you need to declutter. Okay, the next portion is the relationships in your life. Do you feel supported by the relationships in your life? Are you comfortable being alone? Is there anyone in your life that you should forgive? Is there anyone you should apologize to? Have you come to terms with your inner child? I really like inner child work, and I spend a lot of time with that with my coaching clients, and I discuss it in the relationship quadrant of the Simple Shortcuts to Peace course. A lot of people bring up mindset blocks and different things with personal development, and I think a lot of it has to do with healing your inner child. So I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here, but it's something that I feel very passionate about, that you need to kind of go back and talk to your 7-year-old self and heal that little boy or that little girl and let them know that they are safe and they're loved and they're secure and that they're loved unconditionally. A lot of that healing needs to take place. You can heal within an hour if you take the time to do it. But if you feel stuck in lots of areas of your life, you might want to spend some time going back and talking to your inner child and healing your inner child. Okay, have you forgiven yourself for past mistakes in this past year? Who are the 5 people you spend the most time with? Jim Rohn always says that you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So who are your 5 people? Do you share the same values as the people you spend the most time with? Do your friends lift you up? What aspects of your friends do you admire? Do your relationships challenge you to grow as a person? Is there somebody that you would like to know better? And then the data points to try and pay attention to are, what new connections did you make this year? Did you rekindle any connections? Did you let go of any connections? Who are your daily contacts? And in your life right now, who is the most important person? And then let's put on the tippity top piece of your peace pyramid, which happens to be peace. And this is when you can start to guide your programmable GPS. So I think it was, episode 3. And when I started this podcast, I didn't have a plan in place thinking that you should or that people would listen to the episodes in order. But I think it seems like this first dozen or so episodes, I wanted to get everything out of my brain. So I do suggest that you go back and listen from the very beginning. And it's episode 3, where I talk about steps 2 and 3 to living a slow life, and where I discuss programming your GPS. So for the peace part, where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years? What does your life look like in all of the components? Time management, health, finances, organization, relationships, for the you want to be in the future. If nobody could tell you no, or that your dream life was an impossibility, what would your dream self be doing on a day-to-day basis? One of my favorite quotes is, "Nothing is impossible for the man who refuses to listen to reason." So I have that on my whiteboard by my desk, but I have crossed out man and I have put woman. So it's, nothing is impossible for the woman who refuses to listen to reason, which I think is great because I am not a reasonable person. I have a ping pong brain. I get harebrained ideas, and even if they don't make any sense and they're not linear, I decide to just go for it. And you know what? Nobody's going to tell me no. I'm just going to give it a go. I'm going to send off this email. I'm going to write this proposal. I'm going to do this thing that makes no sense because I don't necessarily follow straight lines or reasons. What steps can you take in this upcoming year to shift your current trajectory into the one you envision? And then the last one is, do you have a support system in place to help you reach your dream goals? So there you go. If you take the time, and most people will not, I need to be insanely honest with you. Most people have ideas and then they don't do anything with their ideas. So I want you to rise to the top. Be the top 1%. Be the cream that rises from the milk, and take the time. Go to the website, stephaniodea.com/new you. Print out the PDF. Spend some time actually paying attention to the here and now, so then you can carefully and thoughtfully plan for the new you and the life that you envision. And it's really interesting. So in the Slow Down and Simplify PDF, so every day, 3 or 4 people download that PDF, and then they have it on their hard drive, I guess, or maybe it's in their ebook reader on their phone. And one of the first things that I wrote in that book is to join us and discuss and talk and chat about these thoughts and theories in the private Facebook group. And I can see that out of maybe every 20 or 25 downloads, one person joins the group or one person shoots me an email. And I always wonder, so who are these other people who are downloading and kind of cluttering up their desktop, but they're not taking the next step? They're not doing the work. They're not doing the thing. And I don't want that to be you. I want you to do the work and lean into the hard questions and feel a little bit uncomfortable. And I think we're so quick to shy away from anything uncomfortable, and we'd rather distract or numb out. So we distract by continuing to scroll, continuing to search for new shiny objects and things to sort of pacify this uncomfortable feeling. We turn to extra food. We numb out with alcohol. We numb out with Netflix binges. And this is it. This is the line in the sand. This is what you've been searching for. You have all of the answers. You don't need to keep searching. You don't need to keep scrolling. This is what you've been searching for. So trust that you have all of the information, and then unplug and move forward. So there you go. Happy New Year. Happy New You. Happy everything. I think you are absolutely wonderful. And I'm so happy that you're here. And at any time, shoot me an email. I answer my own email. I'm at steph@stephanieoday.com. Find me on Instagram. I'm at Stephanie O'Day. I have a Twitter account. I really don't like Twitter, but I'm at Stephanie O'Day. If you send me a message, I don't think I will ever see it, but I will respond on Instagram, and I will respond through email. I've got a Facebook author page. It's at stephanieoday.author, a verified Facebook page. If you message me there, I will get back to you. But you are not alone, and I am here to help. Many other people are help. Join Simple Shortcuts to Peace. That's stephanieoday.com/peace. There are other people out there thinking the same way you are, knowing that there is something better on the horizon. And this is it. This is what you've been waiting for. I'm so happy that you're here. Have a great day. Do you have a slow living story to share? Leave me a voicemail at stephanieoday.com/podcast with any questions, comments, feedback, or testimonials, and I will be sure to include it in an upcoming episode. Also, if you found value in this episode, please share it with your family and friends and subscribe through your favorite podcast provider. The more you share, comment, and leave positive reviews, the more people we can reach and share the slow living lifestyle and messaging. Thank you, Slow Down Society, and have an absolutely wonderful day.